for Lesson 1, Model Ratios. Our learning objective is that you will use 2 color counters to model and write ratios. The drawing shows 5 blue squares and 1 red square. You can compare the number of blue squares to the number of red squares by using a ratio. A ratio is a comparison of 2 quantities by division. So the ratio that compares the blue squares to red squares is 5 to 1, since there are 5 blue squares and only 1 red square. The ratio 5 to 1 can also be written as 5:1. So when you see 5:1, you would read that as 5 to 1. Investigate. Materials. 2 color counters. Julie makes 3 bracelets for every 1 bracelet Beth makes. Use ratios to compare the number of bracelets Julie makes to the number Beth makes. Use red and yellow counters to model the ratio that compares the number of bracelets Julie makes to the number of bracelets Beth makes. So think, when Julie makes however many bracelets, which right there looking at that, the counters to model, when Julie makes 3 bracelets, Beth makes 1. So the ratio is 3 to 1. Okay, sorry. Model the ratio that shows the number of bracelets Julie makes when Beth makes 2 bracelets. So if we already had so we already had 3 for every 1. So if I add 1 more yellow, that means I have to add 3 more red. So knowing that, it says write the ratio and explain how you modeled it. So my ratio is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 1, 2. So 6 to 2 is my new ratio. And I know that because I added another group. With 3 red and 1 counter. C says, how could you change the model from part B to show the number of bracelets Julie makes when Beth makes 3 bracelets? Okay, so again, I already added a group last time, but I can add a group of 3 more red and 1 more yellow. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red and 3 yellow, which means when I add 1 more group of 3 red and 1 yellow, now my ratio is 9 to 3. Draw conclusions. Explain how you use counters to compare the number of bracelets Julie makes to the number of bracelets Beth makes. I'm just going to talk you through this, but you need to actually write it down. So make sure that you are writing this in your books for use later on. So we're explaining how Julie used, or how we use counters to compare the number of bracelets Julie makes to the number of bracelets Beth makes. So I used red counters to represent Julie's bracelets and yellow counters to represent Beth's bracelets. So for every 3 red counters that I put down, I showed 1 yellow counter. Again, I used red counters to represent Julie's bracelets and yellow counters to represent Beth's bracelets. So for every 3 red counters, I showed 1 yellow counter. Generalize. Describe a rule that you can use to find the number of bracelets Julie makes when you know the number of bracelets that Beth makes. Okay, so if I know the ratios that I had were 3 to 1, oh my. Okay, so they were 3 to 1, 6 to 2, and 9 to 3. So when I look at this second number and then this first number, I can see that 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9. So I can just multiply by 3. So I'm multiplying the number that Beth makes by 3. And then I'm just going to talk you through number 3. It says, how can you use counters to find how many bracelets Beth makes if you know the number Julie makes? Explain and give an example. Okay, so if I model the number that Julie makes with red counters, for each group of 3 red counters, place a yellow counter. The number of yellow counters is the number of bracelets Beth makes. So for example, if Julie makes 18 bracelets, that means that Beth made 6 bracelets. Make connections. You can use a table to compare quantities and write ratios. A bakery uses 1 packing box for every 4 muffins. Draw a model and make a table to show the ratio of boxes to muffins. So if I think that there is 1 box for every 4 muffins, so the ratio is 1 to 4. So 1 box for every 4 muffins. Step 2, complete the table to show the ratio of boxes to muffins. So each time the number of boxes increases by 1, so 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, so that's increasing by 1. The number of muffins is going to increase by what? Well, that's going to increase by how many are in each box, which is 4. So we're going to add 4 each time. So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4, 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. So what is the ratio of boxes to muffins when there are 2 boxes? And that, to find that, I just look number of boxes right here. I go to 2, and whatever's below it, which is going to be 8. So the ratio is 2. Pen's not working. 2 to 8. Write another ratio shown by the table and explain what that ratio represents. Well, I'm just going to pick the next one here, which is 3 and 12. So the ratio is 3 to 12. And that represents that there are 3 boxes for every 12 muffins. And our objective for today was that you will use 2 color counters to model and write ratios. If you have any questions, please be sure to ask your teacher.